Dickman here.
Johnston here.
Rilla here.
Lorick here. Guzikowski here.
Corral here.
Seifert here.
Chandler here.
And Mayor Bukevich is on vacation this week, so he is excused.
That was nice of you.
I didn't know.
Approval of minutes from the November 14th meeting.
Mr. Dickman makes a motion that we approve the minutes from the November 14th, 2017 meeting.
Seifert seconds. That's who was thinking.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Okay. Dickman, aye.
Johnston, aye.
Rilla, aye.
Lorick, aye. Guzikowski, aye.
Corral abstains.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler abstains.
Significant common council actions were none. New business. Conditions and restrictions. Review conditions and restrictions for conditional use permit requested by Samuel Dixon Jr., 4545 LLC for freight yard freight terminal transshipment depot. It uses the property at 10651 South Oakview Parkway. Carrie?
And commissioners will recall that this was recommended for approval at the November 14th meeting, and the conditions and restrictions are pretty much similar, almost identical to the conditions and restrictions for the sister property at 10450 South Oakview Parkway. If you turn to page 2 of 5, section 3, site use restrictions, maintenance, and operation requirements. All trucks and trailers shall be parked in designated parking stalls on the south side of the property. There shall be no outdoor storage of materials, equipment, or supplies. There shall be no maintenance of vehicles on the property. Solid waste collection and recycling shall be the responsibility of the owner, and removal of snow from off-street parking areas, walks, and access drives shall be the responsibility of the landowners. Under section 6, setbacks for the district are listed, and this traditional time of compliance of 12 months for establishing the business is in section 7. If there are no other questions from the Plan Commission, the suggested motion for the Plan Commission is that they recommend to the Common Council that they adopt the conditions and restrictions as part of the conditional use permit for freight yard, freight terminal, transshipment depot uses on the property at 10651 South Oakview Parkway after a public hearing. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Carrie. Plan commissioners, any questions, concerns, comments? Pretty straightforward.
Straightforward.
Yep.
See any problem?
I guess just one question, because I apologize, wasn't at the last meeting, and I know there was some in the notes, some conversation. Is there any hours issues, hours of operation concerns or listings?
Concerns, no. At this point, the estimated hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., but that'll vary based on the tenant usage.
And who's in there? And there's no reason to restrict anything? There was no 24-hour conversation or anything like that from
Not
the
at this
residents?
time. It's within an existing business park.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? No. We have a motion?
Seifert moves that the Planning Commission recommends that the Common Council adopt the conditions and restrictions as part of a conditional use permit for freight yard, freight terminal, transshipment depot used on the property at 10651 South Oakwood Parkway after a public hearing.
Chandler seconds.
Roll call.
Dickman, aye.
Johnston, aye.
Rilla, aye.
Lorick, aye. Guzikowski, aye.
Corral, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Thank you. 5B, certified survey map. Review a certified survey map submitted by iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC, combining the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue. Is this Carrie or?
I'll take that one.
All right, thank you.
This is a CSM to combine the two properties. Once the parcels have been joined, the new acreage will be in excess of 3. There is a no access restriction that's recommended on Drexel Avenue. However, this will have to be discussed because there are existing access points on the property, and those will be consolidated and relocated in some cases. Wetlands and floodplains are also shown on the certified survey map. There is a drainage easement that's going through a portion of the lot. However, that will be removed and vacated through the correct process. There are also some minor errors that will be corrected on the signature page. The applicant has been aware of these requirements. If there are no concerns from the Plan Commission, a suggested motion is that the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council that the certified survey map submitted by iDrexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC for the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue be approved, subject to the following condition: that all technical corrections, including but not limited to spelling errors, minor coordinate geometry corrections, and corrections required for compliance with the municipal code and Wisconsin statutes are made prior to recording. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Carrie. Any questions or comments or concerns from the commission?
Too easy.
None? Over here? Right.
Okay.
Straightforward.
Got a motion on it?
Corral moves that the Plan Commission recommends the Common Council that the certified survey map submitted by One Drexel LLC, ICAP Development LLC for the properties at 410 and 500 West Drexel Avenue be approved, subject to the following conditions: that all technical corrections including but not limited to spelling errors, minor coordinate geometry corrections, and corrections required for compliance with the municipal code and Wisconsin statutes are made prior to recording.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call.
Hickman, aye.
Johnston, aye.
Grillo, aye.
Clark, aye. Guzekowski, aye. Corral, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
All right, moving on to 5C, sign plan review. Review a proposed sign plan submitted by Bob Krause on behalf of Men's Hair House for the Men's Hair House commercial tenant portion of the building at 160 West Town Square Way. Carrie or Pete? Pete it is.
I'll run the rest of the show.
Can you handle it?
Doing the heavy lifting now.
Yep,
Slow it down.
I get the easy ones. As you stated, the applicant is requesting approval of the sign plan for Men's Hair House located at 160 West Town Square Way. Just like for any sign in DTS, Plan Commission does have review and approval of all signs. They are looking to have one wall sign on the north as well as the south elevation of the building, and also are including one eye-level sign as part of the package. Not included in this report is a sample of the eye-level sign. However, it will be showing the business name and hours of operation, similar to what you'd see the other tenants have in Drexel Town Square. Both signs, or all three signs, will comply with both the DTS sign regulations as well as the approved master sign plan for this development. As for the south elevation, which is the entrance facade, the size will be 28 inches in height and 18 square feet in size, which does comply with code. They will be internally illuminated with LEDs, and they will have channel letter design. And the bottom is haircuts for dudes. That is going to be the acrylic push-through lettering that we allow for in DTS. We don't allow internally lit cabinet signs, but this was a design that we have approved in the past that give it a little bit more dimension and depth. Because, I just like to bring up that because the building is located on the perimeter of Drexel Town Square, they are allowed to have one on an entry facade and a non-entry facade on the north side. So there's no variances required for this sign plan approval. If approved, the applicant will install one wall sign on the north elevation and one wall sign on the south elevation, as well as one eye-level sign located at 160 West Town Square Way. Having said that, staff suggested a motion that the Plan Commission approves the sign plan submitted by Dan Rayer, Men's Hair House for Unit 200 of the building at 160 West Town Square Way.
Thank you, Pete. Commissioners, any questions?
Yes, I do have a question for the applicant.
Oh, unfortunately, I did forget to mention the applicant representative had a heart attack and will not be here. So it happened last week. He's recovering. Everything's doing well, but he's not back to work yet. So unfortunately, the applicant is not here tonight. So
Should we hold it over? Is that what you're saying?
they were
No, I'm
hoping
just
that they wouldn't
kidding.
have to do that.
I'm
They're
only
like,
kidding.
I'll bring a doctor's note if required.
Well, I just wanted to get a little more information about the eye level sign because it was identified the business will be on there. What does that look like?
It'd be similar to what you see for the channel letter. It'll be Men's Hair House, and then underneath it'll be, hours of operation Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I would, look at how Five Guys has it on their sign, as well as Potbelly's, if you have ever went there, that's similar. And they know that there's a 10% rule, and I have not had in the past with tenants with hours of operation exceeding that 10% glazing rule.
And also, I just want to confirm that all the signs they are compliant. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Answers all your questions, Commissioner Candler? Okay. Commissioner Dickman?
Just one, on that graphic sign, which she was asking about, does that come back through you, or is it just automatic that as long as you feel it meets it, it goes forward?
Yes, I had them, they didn't have the artwork, and I said, well, you know what? Request it, we'll bring it to the Plan Commission for their consideration. It still has to be approved, but, staff has to review it, and they do know what the rules, and they said that they could comply with that 10% rule. We don't regulate content, it's always the size and
right.
number. And so they realize they can have one and not to exceed 10% of the clear glazing. So they know what they're limited to. So if the Plan Commission approves the sign plan tonight, they're approving one eye-level sign that meets the standards, and then that way they don't have to come back before the Plan Commission to ask for it at a later date.
Any other questions?
Dickman makes a motion, the Plan Commission approves the sign plan submitted by Dan Rayer, Men's Hair House for Unit 200 of the building at 160 West Town Square Way.
Oracle second.
Roll call?
Dickman, aye.
Dunstan, aye.
Rely.
Lorik, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Grella.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Okay, moving on to 5D, temporary use permit. Review a request for a temporary use permit submitted by, is it Turn in Payne? Tree Ripe Citrus Company for temporary sale of produce in a parking lot located at 501 West Rawson Avenue. Did I pronounce the name right? Pete?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting a temporary use permit that would allow the business to sell produce from the back of a semi-tractor trailer located at 501 West Rawson Avenue. Included in the report is a narrative from the business that explains what it is that they do and how they do it. And up on the map, I do have an example or an aerial map of Farm and Fleet. You have two rectangles, one on the west side, and make sure my mouse and my screen match up here, where is similar to the area that the trailers were displayed over the summer, if you recall, on the west side across from the bays from the auto repair center. Or they would also suggest going into the east corner of the parking lot where the red box rectangle is an arrow, it's kind of fuzzy there. They would like to locate at either spot. If approved, they would go wherever the Plan Commission would prefer them to. The sales, as in that narrative talks about, says that they will be at this location for approximately an hour to an hour and a half, in which they directly sell produce to their customers. Customers are notified typically through email that where they're going to be at what dates, what time, and then their customers come. Included in the report are also the contract at the dates of when they would be at the Farm and Fleet parking lot. It'll be on December 2nd, December 23rd of this year, and then January 13th, January 27th, and February 17th of 2018. As in the past, staff has always recommended against having parking lot sales, outdoor merchandise, unless approved through a conditional use. However, with that said, it is up to the Plan Commission's discretion of whether or not this is an appropriate use for the parking lot at this location. And so in the event that the Plan Commission doesn't concur with staff's recommendation, staff suggests to approve the temporary use permit for the outdoor sales of produce on the property located at 501 West Rawson Avenue as identified on the submitted site plan, and shall be valid for the following dates. It's a little bit different than what I wrote in the report, which I would identify December 2nd, December 23rd, January 13th, January 27th, and February 17th. The reason I make that recommendation to change a little bit is if we just say expires February 18th, as it says in the report, they could do it every day from now until February 18th. So I would modify the recommendation. However, having said that, Staff does suggest a motion that the Plan Commission not approve the temporary use permit for the outdoor sales of produce in the parking lot located at 501 West Rawson Avenue.
Pete. Plan Commissioners, questions, comments, concerns?
I have some questions.
Commissioner Chandler, start us out.
Okay, so I have a question in regards to the difference with when we have the plant sales for the summer versus the fruit sales. So what is different in the conditional use report? I mean, for this?
Are you asking
request?
what
Yes.
staff recommended against those as well?
Okay.
So we've always have said in the past, we do not encourage temporary uses of selling of produce, or not produce, of any type of merchandise. If you want to do it, the business who's there should get a conditional use permit, identify what is that they want to do. So we just don't have, I tread carefully here. We just don't want the guy who sells rugs out of a van show up, and then the bonsai tree guy, and then the flower person sitting in, at what point do you say yes to something and where do you say no? And so staff has always said, if they want to go inside the store, go ahead. If they want to do something like that, that's fine. But to go out into the parking lot was not designed to do that. However, we've experienced the flower, both Steins and drawing a blanket, the bowling alley.
Classic Lane.
Flower shops and how they operated. We didn't have any complaints or anything like that. And those operations were there every day, where this one is going to be for an hour and a half for the specific dates stated. So it's not really the same. I mean, this is probably a smaller event compared to the flower shop, if that's some of the where you're kind of drive at. However, staff didn't want to be inconsistent and pick and choose. Oh yeah, flowers, yes. Produce, no. So we say no to flowers. We say no to produce. But again, it is just a recommendation. It is up to the Plan Commission to determine whether or not this is an appropriate use, and can make the recommendation and grant the temporary use permit. I do know the applicant is here tonight, and he does want to speak to you about it. So at this time, I can bring up the applicant. He can introduce himself.
So I am Tiernan Payne. Do you want me to say my address? 636 North 99th Street, Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, 53226. And I did want to make note that two of our customers had relayed to us that they wanted to be marked down in favor of it. They weren't able to speak here tonight. Dennis Zink, address 301 East Jewel Street in Oak Creek, as well as Daryl Gruenberg, 8625 South 15th Avenue. So I guess as you all have the narrative, I think it succinctly explains what it is that we do and what our goal is applying for this permit. Two things I just wanted to expound on. In the commentary talking about the idea of someone coming as like a rug salesman or selling out the back of a pickup truck, and we completely agree with that. That's something that, as a resident of Wauwatosa, we're concerned about that too. I go to Plan Commission meetings there as well. And I think that is a different model than what we do. And so like the idea of a pickup truck showing up with like watermelons or various produce, we have clean, updated, visually appealing equipment. We're not looking to necessarily bring in walk-up traffic. Our goal is to market directly to our customers, mainly by word of mouth, because of the quality of the product that we bring, as well as the value it gives people, and so that they can have a local place to pick up their delivery. So in Oak Creek, and I think it's stated in the narrative, we have 400 active customers in the city of Oak Creek. I think that wherever we go, we tend to be a benefit to the community. It's something that our customers enjoy. We're licensed in, I think it's over 100 cities in Wisconsin. We've never had violations, citations, negative feedback from any municipality. So I do think that it's something that is a benefit to the city as well as for the local business. We work with Farm and Fleet. We're at, I think, 20 of their locations, and they're to the point now where our lease agreement is $1 because they love having us at their locations. And so I think, as Mr. Wagner pointed out, in essence, we're asking for 7.5 hours spread over the winter so that we're able to make our deliveries to our customers in the area. And if anyone has questions, I'd be
Any
happy.
questions?
Question for the applicant. So when you say visually pleasing, what does that,
So our trucks have signage on them, but it's all updated equipment. So we don't have older equipment that's rusted out. We maintain all of our equipment. It's not what I would describe as like if you saw someone on the side of the road that just pulled up. It doesn't look in that manner. It's something that we have professionally done.
okay, so let's start with the signs. When you say there's signage on it, what does
Our
that,
company logo and photos of what we sell
it is on the
is
truck?
on our trucks, correct?
Okay, and what size truck is this?
What we're applying for with this is not actually a semi truck. It's a 26-foot refrigerated box truck.
Okay, and you referred to equipment, so what equipment are you referring to?
Our trucks.
Oh, the
yeah,
truck.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
correct.
And then a question, I don't know if it's the applicant or Pete. So since it's the winter, where are the snow piles? Are they in one of those two locations?
That would be something that Fireman Fleet would have to determine of where they need to go. I mean, I've seen the snow piles on the eastern portion of the parking lot next to the residential, and I've seen it, on Sixth Street, in that grassy area to the west. So I think it depends on the amount of snow where they push it, and they usually keep the area like on the west end across from the automotive repair bays pretty clear because they have customers and stuff that have to go over there. So I don't think snow would be a particular issue. Even if it was, I think Farm Fleet could just plow a spot for them. The one thing, in the motion, if you do approve, please identify where the preferred location would be. Is it where they had the trailers, when Farm Fleet had the trailers for the summer? Or do you think on the eastern end of the parking lot over by that residential area? Well, it's not the zone commercial, but they're residential houses on the east side. It sounds like the applicant is open to either side. Farm Fleet's okay with either location. It's what does the Plan Commission think is the best location?
Thank you.
I have a question. Why did you pick Farm and Fleet, that location? Why not like 7 Mile Fair, for example?
Sure.
It's open year round and there's a lot more people there. And
There's a lot that goes into the decision-making process for us with locations. Part of it is a central location where it's easy to access for our customers. And so we also space it out. We have locations in other areas. So for example, in Racine, we have a location on the north end of Racine, Oak Creek, Franklin. So we really try to have an area that is easy for our customers to access, usually with large parking lots because it's easy for them to get in and out by a major thoroughfare. And then also our relationships with businesses. So like, for instance, with Farm and Fleet, it's been a very good working relationship for us. And oftentimes they'll ask us to come to their stores. We have been at 7 Mile Fair in the past, though, as well.
this doesn't sit right with me. It just gives kind of the wrong impression for the city of Oak Creek. Start selling out of a truck.
Anything else?
Pat, go ahead.
I guess, real quick, and I rarely disagree with you, but I'm going to say, I mean, based on the time, all the Farm and Fleets that you've listed across the state where you are, limited hours over on, I'd prefer it on the auto side, repair side, the west side where we put the seasonal
Trailers.
other things I think makes sense. There's room over there. It's far enough away where I quite frankly won't see it as a normal, unless I'm going to the auto repair area or coming for you. It's out of my sight, and that's really, I guess, my biggest concern. I think they're big enough that they're a little bit more reputable than a lot of the other things that I see on the corner of Layton and Howell, things like that.
Yeah, I guess just to add to that point, and I don't want to, toot our own horn, but we are a very well-regarded business in the region and in the state of Wisconsin. We've been featured in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel and other publications, national publications. So I feel like our business reputation kind of sets us apart from some of the what you would call like someone selling out of the back of a truck.
I think the track record, I think for me, makes it okay in the very limited hours. I guess my only question for staff would be, you see these vans and people pulling up on gas station corners and selling stuff. How is that even monitored? I mean, they don't even come and ask us. They just do it till they get kicked out?
Typically, yeah, PD is usually the person who contacts City Hall and says, is that approved? And
Can it be there? Right.
Yeah.
I got it.
so
okay.
that's usually then we put a stop on them.
Yeah, so I mean, based on what's here and their history, I would be in favor, and I'd be in favor of the west location.
Thank you. Commissioner Dickman.
I agree with Pat. Your business is not selling through stores, a large being there for hours and hours. And when I look at, we allowed them to have all these trailers there for sale almost all the summer, not all of it. And here we're looking at just an hour every, once a month maybe or something, or hour and a half once a month.
Roughly, yeah.
And you've been around a long time. I know. I've seen it. I've bought some of the stuff at other locations. So I'm all for it. I think there's nothing wrong with it.
I also am a customer. I have purchased peaches before. I would be in favor of this. I, though, would have chosen the other location. I would choose the east location. I know it's really heavy, and you want to park your car as close to it as possible, especially a lot of elderly, that you need to get to your cars. And I think there's no cars in that area, where the other one has the people changing tires, and there's more traffic on that side versus way in that corner. No one ever parks that far. Where I think maybe that would be an easier place to load up your car and get back out. The only one question I have for you, though, is because it is produce, do we need the health department permits, all that kind of stuff?
No, I checked it out with the city sanitarian, and because that everything is basically prepackaged, pre-weighed, we don't need any weights and measures. We don't need anything like that. It's not open.
Stored cold.
It's all prepackaged. So there is no concerns with the health department or the city sanitarian.
Well, we should maybe ask the gentleman, do you have any preference where on that place you'd like to?
If I had to select a spot, I guess I would prefer the east location, just because it is more hidden on the other side and is by their automotive area. I do understand the concept of not wanting to put trucks at the front of the lot by Rawson Avenue and attracting attention that way. But of course, our concern is for our customers and the ease of being able, like it was mentioned, for them to be able to park near the truck and pick up their fruit. We do sell in bulk packs, so they can be heavy. We do have staff to help assist to the car, but if I had to select a location, I would select the east side of the parking lot.
Some more questions down here. Alderman Lorik.
Just to clarify, I guess, kind of the business model for me. This isn't, you're not pulling up and trying to get a lot of drive-by traffic. This is more, you're posting to social media, sending out flyers. This is the day and time we'll be there, and then your customers come to you for that short period.
Yeah, that's, I think, essentially it. We've never been too brash in the way that we advertise. We feel like our products really stand for themselves. And that's another thing that, for example, with citrus in this case, this isn't available to people in the way that we sell it directly from a packing house in Florida per se, other than ordering it online. And so it becomes shipping costs and very difficult. So for us to be able to provide a quality product at a value price, our main means of growth is by word of mouth. And so that's kind of where we kind of do the best. We do send a marketing piece to all of our customers, a brochure, and it lists all of our days, times, locations. And we do various forms of advertising, print advertising, social media. But I would say walk-ups and walk-in traffic is not really what we're looking for. Obviously, if people do come to purchase, we're not going to turn them down, but it's not something where we select spots based off of busy locations where we can set up and draw people in.
And I think my weight question was answered. It's all prepackaged. You're not using.
Correct. No, yeah, there are no scales. For Florida citrus, it is packed by count, and it's monitored by the Florida Department of Ag. So everything coming out of the state of Florida has been officially cleared, and so we just sell by the case in what's packaged, so we don't alter the package at all.
It's sold by weight.
It's sold
You
by,
sell by count.
by count. Some products we do sell by weight. For instance, in the wintertime, we do sell Georgia pecans, and those are marked with the weight on the packages. Those are sold by weight.
Just to follow up, and to Commissioner Carrillo's point, I have no problem with the other location. The point of their customer ease makes sense. To the applicant's point, it's more visible on the east, probably why I want it on the west, but I don't have any heartburn either way.
I have another question. So are there the orders pre-ordered? Because I'm unclear when you say the fruit, it's not individually, is that right, Pete?
Yeah, it's all packaged.
Prepackaged, there we go.
Like bags of
So-
oranges.
Right. The packages are already packed and they are labeled as to what is within that pack, but we do not take pre-orders. It's basically, we just have enough supply that people can come to our truck and purchase whatever they would like. So if they want 5 boxes or 1 box, it really doesn't matter, but we don't take pre-orders.
And so it was identified that you would have sales for about an hour, hour and a half. At what times? Is this first thing in the morning?
9 to 10:30 in the morning, and it's in Oak Creek. We're looking at a Saturday morning.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Price get better at 10:30? Get the truck.
I wish. We have to go to the next stop, unfortunately, at the end of the day.
So you move stops, if that truck's going and hitting stops at different
Correct.
times.
So like on the Oak Creek day, and the thing about this day, it would be a central location to the south end of the city, essentially. But then we'd move on to Menominee Falls and Elm Grove and continue on.
Time to get there.
Yeah.
Was there another question down here? All righty. Who's going to make a motion?
Corral moves that the commission approve the temporary use permit for the outdoor sales of produce in the parking lot located at 501 West Rawson Avenue, and with preference to the east location
On said dates?
on specified dates or within the specified
I would recommend
limit. How do we
the
limit
dates
that, Pete?
We have to list them?
December 2nd to December 23rd, January 13th, January 27th, and February 17th.
So to include a 2-hour window on the listed dates.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Concur.
Okay, Dickman will second.
Roll call?
Dickman, aye.
Johnston, aye.
Carrillo, aye.
Clark, aye.
Guzekowski.
Corral, aye.
Seifert, no.
Chandler, aye.
Very much. All right, that does it.
Hey, Chris,
So once,
Chris,
yes, sir?
after we have our motion from Dawn, I'd like to have just a few moments after that, if I could talk to the commission.
Sure.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Motion to adjourn.
Carrillo moves to adjourn at 6:33.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call?
Dickman, aye.
Johnston, aye.
Carrillo, aye.
Clark, aye.
Guzekowski.
Corral, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Thank you all. And as the mayor would say, explore Oak Creek, and make sure you're getting out and looking for that possible holiday train that might be coming by, and stop at a library and go through any one of the stores or shops that's downtown City Hall. Come on down and explore Oak Creek. Have a good weekend.
Okay, I'd like to just tell everybody here, I talked to the mayor at the last meeting and told him my intent was to resign. So I thought that he was going to be here this evening, but he wasn't. So in my hand, I do have a letter of resignation. This is the last meeting that I will be at, just so you're aware of it.
Wally, it's not accepted. I didn't hear that. La, 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 la.
Where do we get in line, Wally?
Now, there's so many factors coming up, and there's 3 of you that will be back, are up for reappointment in end of April. We've got an election for mayor that'll be up. I've got situation down in Texas with my daughter. Their house was flooded, and so I don't know when they'll be able to get back in. We may go down to help them. Things are so in flux that I just thought the time was now, to change. And I can't make the next meeting. I got so many things going on between your party, Dawn. I'm sorry, and the meeting. I got a family situation going on. But I just want to thank all of you. Now, I do have a letter of resignation. I'm going to ask that Carrie or Pete, hand it to him. Thank you again.